Gigi McDonough, if you had to pick one, what would you say the biggest weaknesses are for the following teams? My God, she's got 6 teams here. The Ravens, the Patriots, the Seahawks, the Niners, the Cowboys, and the Saints. Let's just rip through them. Ravens, what's the top weakness?
I'm going to say if they're down by 10 with 4 minutes left, I don't know if they have the firepower in the offense to come down and get in like we need to have a shootout, spread it out, throw the ball all over the field. I don't know if they have the receivers, and I just don't know if they're built that way. I think maybe that would be my thing with the Ravens.
Yeah, the quick strike passing game
right.
that you may need at some point, and that's a good point. You know, they've been so dominant. We haven't seen them in that spot where Lamar Jackson comes out and you take away the running ability, not because of anything you're doing defensively, but by virtue of the circumstance of the game. Can he win when passing is the only thing he can do, and does he have the weapons in the passing game to make it happen? I like that one. All right, the Patriots.
Offensive line, that's an easy one.
Yep.
The protection for Brady's probably been in the worst of his career. They can't run the ball like they really want to. They want to be a run-first football team. That's it for me.
Seahawks. Now, I was going to say defense generally, but the front 7 played extremely well the other night, and they got some great play out of Quandre Diggs in the secondary. The secondary is not what it used to be. Relative to the Legion of Boom, the secondary is the glaring weakness for the Seahawks. I
think you're spot on there. And like you said, if the front 4 and front 7 can play that way, that'll go a long way to helping out that secondary. But, yeah, the corner play there is just not special. But you're spot on with Quandre Diggs. I mean, he certainly popped in that game the other night.
49ers, look, it's going to seem like we're bashing on Jimmy G, but that's the biggest glaring weakness, isn't it?
It's the biggest question. I mean, I don't want to go. It is. I mean, we don't know yet. And again, I'm not hitting the panic button from the other night, but he still has not proven to us when Shanahan's not on fire and the run game's not on fire that he can carry the load that way against the top tier teams in the NFL. So yes, that is their biggest weakness.
Dallas Cowboys, I think you and I both agree that coaching, whether it's the defensive coaching, and you talk all the time about they have 2 defenses, Jason Garrett's very rigid, inflexible approach, and they got the players. They got the players. If they don't make it to the playoffs this year, it's not because of the talent, it's because of the coaching, and the contract expires for Jason Garrett when the season ends, and I think his time with the Cowboys expires as well.
Yeah, and it's not the offense to me. I'm okay with the offense. I mean, they're special. They do some good things on that side of the ball. They're pretty creative. I mean, they're the number 1 offense in football right now. I mean, the number 1. But the defense, like you said, is my issue. No game plan specific defenses. The NFL's changed. You can't just be, this is what we do. We're going to be sound and we're not going to mess up. Quarterbacks and receivers have gotten too good. Offensive coordinators have gotten too creative. Kids are playing 7-on-7 from the time they're 7 years old. If you're going to play these coverages, they're going to be all over it. That's my biggest issue with the Cowboys.
How about the Saints? I'm very curious to see what you're going to say their biggest weakness is.
I want to say downfield passing game. I think that's the only thing that I look at because I think their defense is still really, really good. I think their front 7, okay, if I was going to say one thing about their front 7, it lacks speed, but its physicality and size is great. When Marshawn Lattimore is healthy, they're a good secondary. I think it is going to be the ability to back people off a little bit, so then all their underneath Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara routes are open. I think the Atlanta kind of showed that a little this week, that they were not going to back off. They were not scared of the downfield threat from the Saints.
And based on what we saw this week, I'd say the offensive line creates some concern, which plays into the downfield passing game. You have to have a quarterback who can still unleash it down the field, and there are legitimate questions about soon-to-be 41-year-old Drew Brees when it comes to the arm strength and the ability to get the ball down the field. But if you don't have time to set up and throw it and find a guy open, it doesn't matter. And the offensive line, based upon how the Falcons manhandled them this weekend, I think that's all of a sudden a concern, Chris.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad, I'll say this, Mike, as I thought when you and I were watching on TV on Sunday, because I did watch this film on Monday, and it was coverage issues really for the first 2.5 quarters. And then when the Falcons got up like 23-9 and 26-9, and they knew, okay, there's no threat of the run game, they did have their way rushing the passer. And that, even with that and knowing that they're not going to run the ball, that was surprising because that Saints offensive line is usually one of the best in football. Andrews Pete got hurt during the game. That hurt them. But, yeah, that was a poor showing by them.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.